on deck with evil dead chick. What's in store when you open the door? Step inside, my little ones. Bring your flashlight and good luck charms. Oh, and good luck charms. Oh. Might get dark. It might get scary. Maybe even a little insane. Crawl out from under the bed. Don't be afraid. Evil Dead Chick is here to entertain and thrill. Deadites on deck with Evil Dead Chick. Let's hang out till the sun comes up.
Okay, gang. There we go. Unfortunately, StreamYard has changed things around and messed me all up. So I had to figure out how to make myself full screen. So apologies about that. Um, so anyway, welcome to yet another edition of Canon Fodder. In a little bit, we're going to be talking about The Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood and Schizoid. We're going to be talking about a comedy and then a horror movie or a slasher movie or whatever you want to refer to it as. Both of these movies came out in 1980. Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood came out in May, and Schizoid came out in September. But we're going to get to that, but I want to get a little housekeeping stuff out of the way before we get into these movies and I rate them and all of that stuff. So even if you're not able to join me live right now, this will be on YouTube, so you are free to watch it on the replay. So let's get this housekeeping stuff out of the way. What do we got coming up for the rest of the week? So a Thursday, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, hopefully, will be another They're All Messed Up. I will be talking about The Case of the Scorpion's Tail. and Dario Argento's Cat o' Nine Tails. Hey, Blissful. I'm sorry I keep pinching at my nose. The weather has just been so weird. It was almost 70 degrees yesterday, and it's dropped down into the 30s, and it's been snowing now. So I'm like, geez, Louise, will it make up its mind what it wants to be? Does it want to be spring, or does it want to still be winter? What does it want to be? So I think that's playing havoc with my sinuses and stuff. So, moving on though, I will be covering hopefully those two movies tomorrow night, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Friday, you're going to get a double dose of me. Liz, will you say 50s today, 30s tomorrow? LOL. Yeah, it's just insane. And you're going to get a double dose of me, and you're going to get a dose of Candace, and you're also going to get a dose of hope, because Candace and I are going to do a kind of short Friday Foolish on Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be finishing up our David Lynch special finally. That'll be part 2 and the final part of the David Lynch special, The Genius of David Lynch. You know, we might talk about David Lynch on down the road, but we wanted to cover this extra special entry into David Lynch and the world of David Lynch and the genius of David Lynch and all that. But it's going to be a quick one, probably less than an hour, because at 7 p.m. Eastern time, there's going to be a bonus special watch along for Terrifier 3, and Hope's going to be joining me for that. So I have not seen Terrifier 3 just yet, so this is you guys and gals that join us for that. Will be seeing me watch it for the first time. So I've seen Terrifier and Terrifier 2. So we'll see how this one fares as far as, you know, I'm concerned. Now, Hope has already seen it, and I think Hope pretty much loves it. So, and I may be bringing out Steve's special Terrifier 3 popcorn bucket. Not to put popcorn in, because Steve probably doesn't want me to do that. But I will have it here at my desk as we're doing the watch along. So if you can stand it, be sure to join me and Hope for Terrifier 3. We're going to be doing a watch along for that, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, we've got a couple of watch alongs that you guys and gals help to pick. And Saturday's watch along starting at, we're going to try 9 p.m. Eastern time this week, will be for Evil Laugh. Sunday's watch along, also starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time, will be Chopping Mall. I've got a whole new poll up, so be sure to get your votes in early, so you can help pick the next couple of films for the next time I do a watch along, which won't be the following weekend, but it'll be the weekend after. It'll be March 22nd and 23rd. So I'll probably be doing another Soup and Jallows this weekend. No movie munchies just yet, but a movie munchies will be coming. Maybe in the in-between week, because I just can't. I've tried it 2 or 3 times, and I just can't do watch-alongs and do a movie munchies, even if the movie munchies is pre-recorded. It just kind of wears me out. Okay, so what else do we have going on? We also have movie roulette going on, and if you give $5 or more in super chats during any live stream I do, that includes watch alongs, you get to pick a movie for me to do a review on, to watch and review. Okay. It can even be a movie I said I hated. You know, it can be a comedy, a drama, a horror movie, a science fiction movie, an action movie. a rom-com, whatever you want to pick for me to watch and review. You give a $5 or more super chat, you got it, folks. So it doesn't matter if 10 people give a $5 or more super chat and they pick, you know, a movie for each person. I will eventually watch and review all of those movies. And if you're the person that picked the particular movie that I'm going to review, you're welcome to come on the stream with me. As long as you can behave. And I know there are certain people that I already know that they can behave, but that just kind of goes without saying, but I go ahead and mention it. And I think everybody knows what behave means. Okay. You have to keep all your clothes on. You can't be, flashing everybody. You can't be, abusing me verbally or abusing anybody else in the chat. You just got to behave yourself. Okay. So I think that is all of my announcements and housekeeping stuff. So let's get to these movies for tonight. So I had never seen the Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood. I've heard of these Happy Hooker movies, but I had never seen a one of them. So this was a first time watch for me. It is available on YouTube. I believe in a 1080p. It looked really good. Steve actually walked through the living room while I was watching it. And he said, "What are you watching this on?" And I said, "YouTube." He said, "Wow, it looks good." And that was on our big TV back in the living room. So, it was crisp and clean and looked, fantastic for a Canon released comedy movie, essentially, a TNA comedy movie. So, I ended up liking this movie better than I thought I would. Um, what does it concern? Can't even talk. It concerns the Happy Hooker, who had written a book about, I guess, about her exploits, and this kind of seedy movie studio wants to make a movie about her. They don't want her starring in it or anything, but they want her to come out to Los Angeles, and they want to, wine and dine her and all this stuff, and get her to let them, make a movie out of her story. And there's some pretty, seedy people in this. So they try to pretty much take advantage of, I'm trying to pronounce her, Xavier Hollander. She's supposedly a prostitute from the Netherlands. I knew she had an accent. But she does get involved with some really crooked producers. But the only one that is genuine and real and wants to help her is the head of the studio's grandson. And when everything goes wrong, including a very seedy Adam West, Steve told me, he said, "Well, Adam West has been in some, he's been in some sleazy stuff." And I said, "Well, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't think that he was like holier than thou or anything. It's just that I just didn't imagine Adam West being in anything like this." So, you don't see a lot of him, but you see a lot of, I believe it's Martine Beswick. Yeah, Martine Beswick. You see her, you see her boobs, you see her ass, you see pretty much everything except for, I don't think she does full frontal. But she's, I don't remember seeing any full frontal. But Adam West plays Lionel Langley. which he is pretty lame. And he basically seduces Exaveria, and he doesn't really care about her, and she falls for him. And then she realizes he's trying to just put the moves on her to try to, encourage her to make this movie with their studio. And she's very hurt. And she just leaves Lionel's house, and she's just walking down the road in LA. And the grandson, uh, played by Chris Lemmon. I knew he looked familiar, and but he was played by Chris Lemmon. He plays Robbie Rotman. So Robbie comes pulling up in his nice car and talks her into, he says, "What are you going to do? Walk back to New York?" Because she says, "I'm going back to New York." He says, "Well, you going to walk? It's a heck of a long walk to get back to New York from here." And so she laughs and she gets in the car with him. And he's ashamed of his grandfather. He's ashamed of his father. And, ashamed of pretty much everybody with the production company. And he doesn't try to take advantage of her. What he tries to do is he says, "I've written a script. I would like for you, or a treatment or whatever. I would like you to take a look at it." And she's just amazed how good of a writer he is. So they get together, her friends from New York, including Susan Keeger, which those of you that watch adult films will remember Susan Keeger. She was in several adult films, but she was also in one of my favorite horror and slasher movies of the 80s, House of Death, or Death Screams is the other title. And I really liked her in that. I'm not really interested in watching her in adult films. She was also in the TNA comedy Hots. And she was in this. And I'm not saying she don't get naked, because she does. But who else do we have? We have Dick Miller playing a New York cop who has a rendezvous with Xaveria near the beginning of the film. And you have a few other people thrown in little bit parts, and it's just fun to pick these people out as you're going along. You say, "Oh yeah, that's so and so," or whatever. So, and actually, I had forgotten this, but Lisa London, Susan Keeger, Lindsay Bloom, and Casey Winkler, who played friends of Exaveria, they were all in Hots the year before, 1979. So there is a connection there. So they end up, I'm not going to tell you the complete story of The Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood, but despite the gratuitous TNA in the film, I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I'd had a rough day at work today again. So it was nice to just sit down and watch something that I didn't really have to think about that hard. And I got a few laughs, and, it ended up good for the good guys and gals at the end of the movie. I will say that. And so, what rating would I give this as far as the Deadites rating scale? I am going to give this, I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 Deadites out of 5. Because, I could see myself waiting a little bit and going back and watching The Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood, maybe watching some of the other Happy Hooker movies. And, you ladies might enjoy this. I know we're not prudes, and sometimes we would rather watch something without or with a little less TNA. But the movie as a whole was still fun. Uh, and it, like I said, it's one that I could see myself going back and watching again, and watching some of the other Happy Hooker films. So that's Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood, which I don't have a visual for, but I do have a visual for Schizoid with good old Klaus Kinski there. Again, this one came out in September of 1980, and it concerns a therapy group that this um, woman who is she I feel like she's infiltrated their therapy group because she writes a column called Dear Julie. And it's kind of like a one of those self-help type of things, or people have problems in their marriage, or they have problems in other relationships, and they go and they ask somebody that writes a column about it. So she is getting ready to go through a divorce. But her and her husband both work for the same newspaper, which is, causing some problems for her because she asked him, did you get the divorce papers? And he's like, yeah, they came yesterday. But he's kind of holding off on signing them because, I guess he thinks she's going to get back together. He thinks Julie's going to get back together with him. And her ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, is played by Craig Wasson, who you will remember from things like Ghost Story and Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, and a bunch of other stuff. I like Craig Wasson. I've seen him in quite a bit of stuff, and enjoy his performances. So he seems like a kind of goofy, kind of puppy doggish type of guy. He just wants to get his lady back, and she's got her eyes set on Klaus Kinski. Why? I don't know. Evidently, Klaus Kinski's character, he plays the psychologist or psychiatrist in the movie, and he leads these therapy groups of people that are having different relationship issues, or maybe anger issues. And so it's got kind of two parts to it. You have, Julie dealing with the impending divorce from her husband, who they both work at the same newspaper office, and it's kind of putting a strain on everything. Mariana Hill plays Julie. Donna Wilkes is also in this, playing Klaus Kinski's daughter. And seems to be a weird relationship between Allison, Donna Wilkes' character, and her father, because we see early on that I don't think she's trying to seduce him. But she, leaves the door of the bathroom open. She takes all her clothes off. She's getting ready to get in the shower. And Klaus kind of, Dr. Vale, kind of peeks in, and then he turns his head, and he starts talking to Allison and asking her if she's okay. We find out that her mother had passed away, and she's really dealing with a lot. And then Dr. Vale brings Julie in, and basically Dr. Vale's having sex with all his female patients. That's what I get out of it, or most all of them, because one of the ladies is a stripper, and he shows up at her place of work and has a little quickie with her. So I'm like, holy cow. So meanwhile, Julie is getting these letters, and we find out the letters are coming from Allison, Dr. Vale's daughter. And I don't think she really means to do anything, but she doesn't like Julie. She doesn't like Julie coming around her father. She's still grieving for her mother who has passed away. And so she's a young girl who is upset with things going on around her, and she strikes out the only way she can by, cutting the letters out of a magazine. And she doesn't want to type anything or anything like that, or handwrite anything, because they might be able to find out who it is. So she keeps sending letters, kind of threatening letters, to Julie, and they arrive at the newspaper office. And Julie's understandably unnerved by them. Um, and Christopher Lloyd, believe it or not, Christopher Lloyd is in this movie. Doc Brown is in this movie, playing Gilbert, a kind of odd man. I always find it funny that Christopher Lloyd is in this. Um, but it's good to see somebody with such good acting chops that they can play a totally different character than the zany Doc Brown character, or some of the other characters that Christopher Lloyd has played over the years. um so the thing I like about this is it's almost like a giallo. You do have a black glove killer that's slashing up women. You don't know who the killer is. And the killer seems to be targeting the women in this therapy group. They're not targeting the men, but they are targeting the women. And they get killed in some spectacularly gruesome ways. Some of it's more cut and dried, but um, they are mainly killed with a large pair of very sharp scissors. And I just liked the atmosphere. And I liked the stylish way that this film was shot. It was shot very, very well. It's suspenseful. It has just enough slashing to appease us horror fans and slasher fans. I really like this movie, as a horror film and as a slasher film. I think it's well acted. Um, it- you know, People can say what they want about Klaus Kinski, that he was handsy and with women that he worked with, and that he, had a violent temper on the set a lot of times. But to me, Klaus Kinski was one hell of an actor. Despite his flaws, his personal flaws he may have had, he was one hell of an actor. And I have enjoyed him in everything I've watched him in. I don't really think of him as a sex symbol or anything like that, but as an actor, he's just absolutely fantastic. And if you've never seen Klaus Kinski in anything, I urge you to seek his work out. Um, so, because of all of these things, I would give Schizoid 5 deadites out of 5. There's just no doubt about it. I have watched this movie so many times. I know it upside down, inside out, forwards, backwards, sideways, whatever. And I can't get enough of it. I wanted to watch it again last night and just got too tired and didn't get to. But like I said, I know this movie so well that I felt comfortable talking about it tonight without rewatching it first. Now, the same couldn't be said for The Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood. I had to watch that one. I'm not sure where you can find Schizoid to watch for free. You could try the usual suspects. You could try YouTube. You could try Tubi and things like that. But like I always say, don't go out and spend your hard-earned money if you have not seen these movies, right? Hey, Menelect. Uh, oh, okay. Thank you, Menelect. Let me write that down so I don't forget. And everything's going really well, except I had a hard day at work today, Menelect. But other than that, I'm doing great. So, dealer's choice. Okay. I'm really looking forward. I don't even think I've heard of that movie, Menelec. So, um, thank you. Thank you for the $7 super chat, and thank you for the review choice. So, I will be reviewing that in an upcoming movie roulette. Oh, it isn't a movie? Oh, well, what is it, Menelec? Is it something? Is it is it a show or um you had no movie request? Well, Middle Lake, thank you again for giving the $7 super chat. I really appreciate it. And if you come up with any uh you know between now and whatever, I will be glad to do a review for you. Um, I just thought I really thought that was a movie. I was going to say, all right, but again, thank you, sir, for the $7 super chat, and you let me know if you want to suggest a movie for me to review. So, um, anyway, I think that is it for me for tonight. If you missed this and came in to tail end, please, feel free to watch it on the replay. It should be up on YouTube. Um, and I just lost my whole train of thought. That's what these rough days at work are doing to me. But with all that being said, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday night, folks. We are edging closer to the weekend. Steve says he's going to take me out to King Buffet, which is a Chinese buffet on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting out of the house and going out to eat with my man. And I hope that you guys and gals have something fantastic lined up for your weekend. And I hope the weather normalizes because it's 70 degrees one day, 30 something another day is about to kill me. But anyway, I am out of here for now, but I'll see everybody next time.